flippers! I am Chris Thomas, and this is Land Flipping 101. Today, I'll be answering some questions posted in the group. There are a lot more questions than I can answer on this short broadcast, but I will plan to do this every Friday to try to help you move forward in your business. So keep dropping your questions into the group because I am spending most of my time here in this small group, and I will answer your questions daily and pick questions to bring to next Friday's live. So thank you to everyone who submitted questions. I'm still learning the Facebook Live, so I'm not able, I'll try to look at the end to see if you've typed any questions in before I sign off. Today, I'll be covering three topics. One, the best way to do a title search. Two is the importance of using Facebook ads. And three, how to price your offers to owners. So thank you all for your questions. So the first one came from Tom Ramey, and he asked, what is the best way to do a title search? Well, Tom, you probably know this, but a title search is the process of going through past deeds and tax records and other financial transactions that are linked to a particular piece of property. The purpose of a title search is just to make sure that the person selling you the property is actually the owner so that the property can legally transfer to you without any problems. More importantly, also, the property would not be subject to liens or encumbrances of any kind that would cloud the title or prohibit transfer of clear title. And you can conduct a title search yourself. However, if this is your first title search, you may want to consider hiring an experienced title search company. First, just let me say that I never do this on my own because it's just too important, and there are legal issues here, and I just have so many other details to be concerned about in my business that I would rather leave this to the professionals. However, all my deals are larger than $5,000. And if you are doing smaller deals, it can be cost prohibitive to hire a title company. So if you're going to do this yourself, I'm going to go through the steps, and I'll probably spend most of my time on this because this is something I know a lot of people want to know. A lot of people like to start with the less expensive properties to kind of learn the process and grow from there. So I'll go ahead and go through that today. So the first thing is you want to identify the property, like identify it legally, and then locate the deeds, and then check for liens, mortgages, judgments, or just any other outstanding issues. So the way you do this is by checking with the tax assessor. You need to gather as much information as you can about the current property owner and the property itself. And you do this so that you can more easily locate the current and past deeds for the property in which you're interested. So most property records can be located in the tax assessor's office in the county or in the city where the property is located. And these records are open to the public, and many times you can even just find them online. That's usually what I do. I try to avoid the counties where they don't have them online. So when you search for it online, there's sometimes a small fee, but oftentimes you can find it for free. It's the fastest way to locate deeds for the property and conduct your title search. So you want to locate the most recent deed first. And honestly, I usually just call the county and have them email me the deed. They're usually willing to do that if I can't get it online. But typically I'll call instead of even looking online. But I'll leave that up to you. I just work that way better. But so you locate the most recent deed first, and this contains the name of the owner of the property, which should match the name of the person from whom you are purchasing the property. And each deed will reference other previous deeds and maps of the property location and just any liens on the property. You want to gather deeds for the previous 50 to 70 years just to ensure that the title has passed correctly. This is called the chain of title. Some title companies only go back 30 years, but I recommend going a little farther. If the county where the property is located does not have an online deed search system, or it doesn't go back far enough in the past, you might need to go visit the office that's responsible for recording deeds. And in order just to be successful in your search, it's good to bring copies of all the deeds that you locate or the information that you have obtained from the tax assessor's office. Okay, and then you check for liens and mortgages and judgments or any outstanding taxes. So a tax search is important, and you can also get that from the tax assessor records. Just if there are any outstanding taxes due on the property, because you know that if someone doesn't pay their taxes, they can be foreclosed on just for the taxes. So as part of the title search, you want to make sure that the property is not subject to any liens before purchasing the property also. Taxes and liens are always able to be transferred to the new owner. It does stay with the land. And if the taxes that have not been paid are significant, like I said, they could foreclose on the property, even if you were not responsible for accruing the debt. So just be sure you know what that is. And then when you're looking for a judgment lien against a property, this really acts as collateral. The land itself acts as collateral for the money that's owed until the judgment is satisfied. And most states have laws prohibiting an owner from selling a property that has a judgment lien on it. And this actually happened to me recently. I had a seller with a $25,000 judgment lien that went back about 25 years. In fact, I was also marketing her property for sale, and the neighbor who was trying to buy it from me and was also a local developer turned out to be the one that had the judgment lien against her. So it was a little bit lengthy when we found out about this. But obviously a judgment lien is considered a defect in the title, and the seller had to work to eliminate the defect before she could pass it to me free and clear. So I had the seller contact the neighbor who was the creditor of the lien and just find out what the payoff amount would be. And we just took it out of her share at the closing, and she was happy with that. But when you're doing a title search, again, just discuss any concerns you have, any financial restrictions with a real estate attorney. And I wouldn't even hesitate if you're doing this yourself and you come across something that seems odd or you have a question about. I would not hesitate to call a title company and just say, I'm thinking about using your company for this title search, and I just ran across something that I thought was interesting. Could you maybe look at this with me? And obviously, if they think you may do future business with them, they might be willing to share some ideas. Okay, so I hope that helped you, Tom. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat here. And when the Facebook Live is over, if I don't see them, I'll try to answer them right away. Okay, moving on to the second question. Romaine Burton, I hope I said your name right. He asked, could you please speak about the importance of Facebook ads in the land investing business? Well, I think there are two different kinds of ads. I don't know which one you're referring to, but I'm assuming from your question that you're referring to paid ads. I don't personally ever pay for ads on Facebook because what I do is use Facebook Marketplace ads. So if you're referring to that, that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I will tell you that that is the second highest lead source that I'm getting on my land deals. They're driving more interested prospects to my properties than any other service I'm using behind the MLS. And how you present your property online will make or break your sales effort. You need to capture and hold your potential buyer's attention. So I would just want to start by saying, you need to have eye-popping pictures. Oftentimes it's best to have a picture taken from down below where you get a little bit of the land and a whole lot of the blue sky and any attributes of the land in between. That contrast between the land and the sky really makes a huge difference. For your first few properties, until you really know an area, you could go and visit the property and take your own photos. But typically, I never go to the property, so that's totally optional. But the next thing after pictures is to really tell an exciting story. Describe the property in a way that creates excitement and just kind of avoid having to answer the same questions over and over again. So by telling a story, you can make your buyers see themselves as retired or camping with family or having these amazing views or whatever the property would call for. I also think it's a good idea to have video because the same reason I'm doing a Facebook Live video is just easier for people to consume. I use droners.io for all my drone piloted videos. and they give me the raw footage and I send it off to be edited by someone like on Upwork or Fiverr. Also, I'd recommend you have customized maps of where the property is located and how close it is to, the big city or other, amenities in the area. And then probably on your website, you should have a brief presentation of just the legal information and whatever the process is to close the deal. Because even with the Facebook Marketplace ad, your goal is to drive traffic to your website. And, people can so easily just click, is this still available, when they're scrolling through Facebook and they see your ad? And yes, you could just write back, yes, it is available. But I also have like a text, like I've saved it in my phone notes. So whenever I'm scrolling through and I have a message, I can copy and paste the response on that particular property. But frankly, most of the time, I'm just telling them to go to my website because I'm putting everything I know about the property right there, where all of their questions can be answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's my never-ending workhorse. And then when I'm running these Facebook ads, once I get everything set up, and I don't know if you need more detail on how to set it up. If you do, drop that in the link and I'll send you some information on how I do it. But you want to make sure that you're sending them to your website and you're posting the group, or I'm sorry, you're posting the ad into relevant groups that the ad would appeal to. So for example, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm going to post things in the Nashville Real Estate Investors Network Facebook group. I'm also going to be trying to post it, if it's a Tennessee property, I'm going to post it in Tennessee Land and Lots for Sale. You'll go into groups in Facebook and you'll find relevant groups of people who are either investors searching for a great deal on property, which I'm going to go into the pricing in a minute, but we are offering great deals that investors should take advantage of. Or you're also going to put it into a place where just regular Joes are searching for land for sale in Tennessee. There are all kinds of groups in Facebook. You'd be surprised. So first you go in and join those groups. And then when you create your ad for Facebook Marketplace, you advertise into those groups. Just make sure you're following the group rules and that kind of thing. I hope that helps. Let me know if it does. And I will go on to the third question because I'm getting on to about 13 minutes and I don't want to keep you here forever. So the third question I chose to answer today didn't come from my Facebook post in the Land Flipping 101 group. It's just a recurring question that people ask me about how to price offers. It's a fair question. Many of you already know that my practice is to send out blind offers. But some people choose to send neutral letters and try to start a conversation by answering their phone when someone calls. And others I know will solicit people on the phone. They'll skip trace them and they'll call them and try to find out if they would be motivated to sell. Sometimes they do it through text message. My method is just direct mail blind offers because frankly, I'm lazy and I just don't want to work that hard. I don't want to skip trace and I don't want to call. I'd rather throw out a whole bunch of mail and let someone who's motivated to sell call me so that I can find out what's their motivation and can I really do a deal with this person. So when I'm pricing my offers, my number one goal is to double my money. That's right, 100% ROI. I don't think that's hard to do, and that's my minimum goal. So if you think of full retail price of a property at, let's say, 100%. Let's say we have a property that will sell for $10,000 on the market for full retail price. Our goal is to purchase the property at no more than 30% of retail price, or $3,000. So the reason why is because then I can double my money. I can sell it for 60%, or maybe I even go up to 70% to pay for that title search and insurance and closing costs. And the end buyer still gets a great deal at 30% off retail, and you've doubled your money. So I never acquire a property or put one under contract unless I already know it's going to be worth double what I'm going to pay for it.